So you want to become a freelancer. Am I a freelancer? Yes, I am. Roll the damn intro.
This is going to be a comprehensive review.
My name is
Shut up!
Welcome to Jai Waves, folks. I'm Lahiru, and let's start off with explaining what a freelancer is. A freelancer is... Freelancer is a term commonly used for a person who... A freelancer is a term that's commonly used to describe someone who is self-employed, who doesn't work for one individual person or company, permanently. I am so smart. It's 12 o'clock in the night and the damn dog is howling. Now, there are a few compelling reasons to become a freelancer. You have the freedom to choose who you work for. You have the freedom to choose what projects you handle. You have the freedom to choose what time of day or how many hours a day you want to work. And also you get the chance to work on your skill and work on your craft and become better at it at your own time and pace. Now, being a freelancer is a very attractive venture, right? A lot of people would love to be the master of your own time, this and that, and it sounds fine and dandy, but there are a couple of things you need to keep in mind when you're dipping in to the pool of freelancing. The main thing is that you're not going to receive a monthly fixed income. It's gonna fluctuate depending on the work that you do. If you work more, you get more money. If you work less, you don't get as much money. And on top of that, you lose all the benefits that are like an organization give you. You don't get healthcare, you don't get any of the insurance coverage, you don't get your annual leaves, you don't have casual, you don't have sick leaves. If you take leave, you just don't get paid. And also, freelancing is kind of the stepping stone for entrepreneurship. A lot of people find what their passions are and start building companies and building their brand after they've gone through the whole freelancing spiel. Just like everything else in life, there's positives and there are negatives. So let's get into it. The number one prerequisite for you to become a freelancer or get into freelancing is that you have to be good at something. Like, there is no 3-month probation period, or there is no training period where you start getting acclimated with the job that you're doing and this and that. You have a customer, the customer wants product, you make it for the customer, and that's it. So this is what you need to figure out first. What are you good at? What do you want to learn? What do you think you're gonna learn for a long period of time? Are you gonna be a photographer, a musician, a videographer? Are you gonna be a freelance marketer? Do you enjoy being in the social media sphere? Figure that out. Figure out what you're good at and learn as much as you can on that subject and on that craft. Once you figure that out, you need to at least spend a minimum of 6 months to a year learning that. Go online. People don't necessarily care about your qualifications in the freelance sphere. They just want to see or want to know if you can make something or if you can fulfill their requirements. So go online and learn as much as you can and build that portfolio. The portfolio is essentially what acts as your CV. So what do you do if you don't have a portfolio? Do work for free. When you are good at something, or when you're capable of performing a certain task and you offer people or you offer it for free, people are going to jump on that bandwagon ASAP, especially smaller businesses that are looking for certain tasks to be done at a lower cost. And if you say you're going to do it for free, they're just going to give it to you, because what's the risk? If you're not good, they didn't lose any money. So do it for free. I personally did so many free gigs for easily almost 2 years. I didn't do as many as I wish I could. So I took on projects here and there, music videos, the commercials here and there, making tiny clips for social media. So I did that for at least a year and a half before I landed my first proper paying shoot. And the second thing that you need to know or have to keep in mind is just be a nice guy. When it comes to the freelance sphere, a lot of the work that exists doesn't require you to be an expert in your field, right? I mean, yeah, it's certainly an advantage if you know your craft well, but it's not required. Most of the freelance gigs or freelance work that's out there is a very, like mid-level work, some one of a company or a client has a product or something that they require, and you just have to be able to do some decent work and make sure that you provide value to that person. So how do you stand out in a market like that? It's just you be a nice guy to people. You need to make sure that you're somebody that people can work with. Almost 80% of the work that I've done over the past years has come through recommendation or word of mouth. Either I know the person who's giving me the work, or I know a friend of a friend of a friend whose auntie, and that's how I get the work. Over time, once you become really good at what you do, you still need to be a nice guy. Being a nice guy is really good, but that's when you become that. But that's when you become the entrepreneur and create your company or create your brand, and that's when you start hiring other people to do this, odd jobs for you. So learn to be a nice person from the get-go, and you being a nice guy alone is what creates repeat purchases or repeat customers. They're going to keep coming back to you because it's so easy. All the client has to do is, hey, I need this, let me know when you can do it. Be transparent with the customer, meet deadlines, and it's going to snowball after that. If you are at the moment not happy with what you're doing and you want to dabble in a bit of freelance work to see what other options you have, these things are the main two things that you need to consider. Be good at something and be a nice person, and don't go all in. Freelancing is not something where you can just go all into. You need to have a safety net to fall back on. You either have to have parents that can cover your rent or whatever, or you don't have any other loans and stuff that you need to pay off, because it is a risky business. So if you're stuck at a job right now that you don't really like doing, take your downtime. I'm sure you're gonna say that you're so busy. No, you work typically a 9 to 5 job, and then there's at least an hour a day that you can invest in either learning a new skill, learning photography, learning how to code, learning how to bake, to cook. And then you have your weekends. Make sure that you spend as much time as you can learning the craft, and then start taking gigs on your weekends or whenever you're off from work. Now, a big mistake a lot of freelancers do that I see is that when they start doing work on weekends, or when they try to juggle two things at the same time, they start reducing the amount of respect that they have for their day jobs. Now, don't forget, if you're working at a company, that company could be your first client. So make sure that you respect your boundaries. Make sure that you're transparent with your employer, that you have these kinds of skills, and you are doing work on your off time with regards to these things, and make sure that it's it doesn't contradict with your contracts. Because trust me, once you perform well at your job and you're transitioning into a freelance life, your first customer could be the company you're working for. So keep that in mind. Don't forget that. It is a quick video, this one, but it's one that's close to home for me because I've been doing it for almost 5-6 years, and I absolutely enjoy every moment of doing it. Right now I am a freelancer and I do have a day job, and things are going pretty well. And I hope somebody can get some value out of this video. Yeah, until the next one.